Alright, before we even get into this mess, real quick, if you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. It genuinely helps more than you think, especially with the algorithm. And one more quick thing before we start, especially if you're watching on mobile. There's a feature called Hype on YouTube Mobile. If you swipe on the comment preview or tap the little options, you might see a hype button. If you have it, please hype this video. It genuinely helps the algorithm push my video to more people, like way more than you think. If you don't have it, no worries at all. Just being here already helps. Okay, let's get into it because, yeah, this one hurt. So I opened my phone and I saw the headline, Danielle, contract terminated. And I just stared at the screen. Like, not even dramatic. I just sat there because on one hand, I'm shocked. On the other hand, I'm not shocked at all. And I hate that both of those feelings can exist at the same time. This entire NewJeans situation has been exhausting. For fans, for casual listeners, and honestly, probably for the members themselves. It's been lawsuit after lawsuit, statement after statement, allegedly this, according to reports that. So just to be clear, before anyone tries to jump me, everything I'm saying here is based on public statements, reporting, and alleged information. Nothing here is confirmed beyond what companies and media outlets have already said. I'm not stating facts that aren't already out there. Cool? Cool. Now let's talk about Danielle. Danielle was always one of the most vocal members. She spoke up a lot. She didn't really shy away. So when news broke that her contract was the one officially terminated, part of me went, yeah, that tracks. And I hate saying that because it sounds like blame, and that's not what I mean. I mean that when someone consistently speaks out in an industry that hates when idols do that, the consequences are almost always ugly. But at the same time, I'm sitting here thinking, what exactly did they expect? Did they expect the group to magically come back together like nothing happened? Did they expect all 5 girls to just smile, nod, and pretend the last year didn't exist? Am I tripping for thinking the only way NewJeans ever came back was as 5? Because to me, that was always the whole point, and now we're here. According to ADOR's official statement, Danielle's exclusive contract was terminated because they determined it would be difficult for her to continue as a NewJeans member and ADOR artist. They also allege contract violations, including independent activities and reputational damage to the group. Again, alleged. That's their claim. They've also said they plan to pursue legal accountability against one of Danielle's family members and former CEO Minji, alleging responsibility for the dispute and delays. That part alone is heavy, because once families and legal blame get pulled in, this stops being just idle drama and becomes real-life consequences. And here's where it gets really uncomfortable to talk about. There is now serious discussion, again allegedly, according to legal experts and industry analysis, that Danielle could be facing massive financial penalties. We're talking numbers that sound fake, tens of millions, potentially more. Some estimates are floating around that hit into generational debt territory. And I don't say that lightly. That's the kind of debt that doesn't just affect you, it affects everyone around you for years. And that's where my heart really drops. Because regardless of where you stand, whether you think she was right, wrong, reckless, brave, Danielle is still so young. She debuted as a teenager. She grew up in this system, and now she's potentially staring down lawsuits and financial pressure that most adults wouldn't survive mentally. That's sad. Full stop. And this is where it gets personal for me as a fan. When NewJeans debuted, Danielle was my favorite. Instantly. Like out of nowhere. She had this bright energy, this warmth, this very open sunshine personality. Her voice stood out immediately. And over time, as I watched more content, variety shows, vlogs, behind the scenes, I started leaning more toward Hanni. Introverts rise, okay. I saw myself in her more. But Danielle never stopped being special to me. She is literally the sunshine of NewJeans. Her voice is a huge part of their sound. It's not something you can just replace or work around. NewJeans without Danielle does not sound the same. It doesn't feel the same. And I don't care how good the remaining members are, and they are good, that chemistry is not guaranteed to survive this. Which brings me to the thought I hate that I've had. Should they just disband? I know that sounds awful. I know fans don't want to hear that, but I'm trying to be honest. If NewJeans comes back as 3 or 4 or some half version where everyone is clearly uncomfortable, constantly compared, constantly missing someone, is that better? Or is that just dragging out something that was already damaged beyond repair? And it's not even just Danielle. Minji's contract is still in talks. Nothing is guaranteed there either. Hanni returned. Haran and Haein returned, but that doesn't magically erase everything that happened. Trust was broken, public perception shifted, the group lost momentum. Time passed. This was one of the most dominant girl groups of 2022, 2023, even 2024, and they lost an entire year to legal fights. That's insane. No comeback, no music, no real closure, just silence and court documents. And yeah, allegedly HYBE's stock went up after certain members returned. Allegedly investors reacted positively to Danielle's termination, but that just makes this feel even colder. Like numbers mattered more than people. And before anyone says, well, that's business, I know, but we're allowed to still feel weird about it. Now let's talk about the theories, because of course there are theories. There's speculation floating around that Danielle could end up at the Black Label. Emphasis on speculation, nothing confirmed. People are connecting dots based on appearances, social circles, volunteer work, industry patterns. That does not mean it's happening. And even if it were, that road would not be smooth. Lawsuits don't just disappear because you change labels. So if you see people acting like this is a clean escape, please understand it's not. Even if Danielle lands somewhere else, this chapter will follow her for a long time. What hurts the most is seeing how divided people are. Some fans are furious at ADOR and HYBE, some blame Danielle, some blame her family, some blame Minji, some blame everyone. And meanwhile, Danielle herself has been spotted doing volunteer work, staying quiet, living her life as best she can. That doesn't erase alleged legal issues, but it does remind us she's human. And honestly, watching people dehumanize her online has been gross. You don't have to agree with her choices to have empathy. You don't have to pick a side to admit this whole situation is tragic. At this point, I don't even know what the best outcome is anymore. A reunion feels unlikely. A rebrand feels hollow. A continuation without key members feels painful. And Danielle's future feels uncertain in a way that's genuinely scary. So yeah, I'm shocked. And I'm not shocked. And I'm sad. And I'm frustrated. And I'm tired. If you've made it this far, thank you. Seriously. And if you're watching on YouTube Mobile, this is where I ask a small favor that helps a lot. There's a feature called Hype. While watching this video, swipe left on the little comment preview under the video, sometimes once or twice, and you should see an option to hype the video. You can also tap the 3 dots and it'll show up. It only works on videos uploaded in the last 7 days, and it really boosts smaller creators. If you have that option, please hype this video. It genuinely helps the algorithm push it out. And before you go, please like the video. Subscribe if you enjoy honest K-pop discussions like this, and leave a comment. And if you watched all the way to the end, comment the phrase, "Sunshine never fades," so I know you really stayed with me through the whole thing. No matter what side you're on, let's keep it respectful in the comments. These are real people, real lives, real consequences. I'll see you in the next one.